Hey everyone, it's Darian.
And Ricky.
And today we are talking to you about protein resources.
For vegans.
For vegans.
So in order for your body to utilize protein, it has to be a complete protein. And a complete protein is composed of 9 amino acids that your body cannot produce itself. And when you bring all these amino acids together, it creates a complete protein. Your body uses this for energy and nutrients, things of that sort. The difference between a vegan and a non-vegan when it comes to complete proteins is a non-vegan will get their complete proteins from eating sources like meat. When, say, you're eating a cow, the cow has already done the back end of work and has already eaten the foods to assemble that protein as a complete protein.
So as a non-vegan, you're basically just eating the complete protein of the animal that has already done the work for you. So as a vegan, you're skipping that process and you're eating the essential things to assemble a complete protein. So we have 7 complete vegan protein options for you today, and let's dive in. The first one is soy protein. Soy is a complete protein. You can get it from tofu, soy milk, tempeh, edamame, and these all have different amounts of protein in them. We wrote down how much protein each of these items has in it for your reference. Tempeh has 17 grams of protein per half cup, which is a lot. And if you don't already know, tempeh is just fermented soybeans. It's really good to use as a mock bacon. It makes great TLT sandwiches. Tofu has 9 grams of protein per 3 ounces. This is really good for an egg replacement or tofu scrambles that we like to make in the mornings.
Yeah, as we've mentioned in other videos too, you can make a plethora of dishes with tofu, so it doesn't really matter the style. You can kind of accommodate the tofu to whatever style dish
you can make
you're
it
making.
Crispy and put it in tacos. So there's lots of options. You can also use it in desserts too. Edamame has 9 grams of protein per half cup. If you've ever gone to like a sushi restaurant and you get an order of edamame, it's just soybeans, and that whole cup is probably 18 grams of protein. And then soy milk has 7 grams of protein per 1 cup. So you can just easily drink a cup of soy milk and 7 grams protein.
And if you were to combine that soy milk with some sort of vegan plant-based protein, it could be soy plant-based, it could be, I think we have pea plant-based protein. You could combine that and obviously increase your protein triple-fold.
This is also a really easy and super affordable option. This is definitely one of the most affordable options on our list. Soy is just so cheap, and there's so many options to use it with. So it's also just a really quick and easy way to get your protein in. I did want to give a little disclaimer though for the ladies out there. If you are susceptible to really bad period cramps, eating a lot of soy can really increase your estrogen and cause those cramps to get worse. So if you are susceptible to worse periods, I would definitely recommend just taking it easy on the soy, not necessarily not eating it all, because I used to have really bad periods, and I eat plenty of soy and I don't have an issue, but just don't use that in all your meals maybe.
And for the men, same topic. Obviously, it has increased levels of estrogen. That can have negative effect for men too, but like she said, we eat plenty of soy and I've never seen any of the negative side effects. Like they say, a plethora of it can cause man boobs and stuff like that, but obviously I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I think you're doing okay too.
We're all right.
I think I need more estrogen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll dive into our second one, which is quinoa. quinoa has 8 grams of protein per 1 cup cooked, and it's a great option because you can eat it hot or cold. You can also use it as a grain in cookies and brownies and things like that. But then you can also use it in dinners as bowls, or you can use it as a base for tacos, or you can eat it cold and make it into a salad. It's also filled with lots of other nutrients like fiber, iron, magnesium. So it is definitely a really good source. It is really calorie dense. So if you are counting macros, just be aware of that.
Which isn't always a bad thing, obviously.
Definitely not.
One thing I've noticed being a bigger person, being vegan, it is a little harder to eat as much or to reach my calories in a day. So whenever I eat more dense foods like quinoa, things like that, I notice that it's a lot easier to reach my calorie goals for the day.
And you are getting your bang for your buck. Like I said, there's tons of other nutrients in there that you're getting that you wouldn't otherwise get in another grain. So our third complete protein source is rice and beans.
We eat a lot of rice and beans. Rice by itself only contains a few of the 9 essential amino acids, and beans by itself also only contains like the other half of the amino acids that you need. But if you combine the two, it forms a complete protein. So if you have rice and beans, you get all 9 of those amino acids that you would need for your body to have the complete protein that it needs to actually provide benefit to you when it comes to energy and nutrients. So with rice and beans, when you combine them, you get 8 grams of protein per 1 cup. And that's, 1 cup of rice and beans really isn't that much. So 8 grams is actually a nice little source of protein. Just like soy, rice and beans is super cheap. We literally stay stocked up on rice and beans. It's like 50 cents or 75 cents or something like that for a can of either or, the beans.
Yeah, it definitely keeps our grocery bill way down. We stock up on beans every time I go to the grocery store.
Yeah, it's also very easy too. Rice takes a little longer. Sometimes you gotta throw it in a pan and let it cook for 20 minutes or whatever, but it's very simple. And then beans, you just open the can, throw them in the pan, let them cook. Like, that's one of the easiest sources of protein you can get that you're kind of just creating from scratch.
And like Ricky mentioned, the way rice and beans work so well is rice is a grain, and grains have certain amino acids, and beans are a legume, so they have the other half of the amino acids that you need. So combined, you are able to complete your protein. You can use any legume and any grain combined to get a complete protein resource. Legumes consist of beans, peanuts, lentils, chickpeas, and grains are things like wheat, corn, and rice. Which brings us to our fourth complete vegan protein resource, which is peanut butter sandwiches.
So peanut butter sandwiches,
Childhood memory.
yeah, very simple, easy, I would say fairly inexpensive as well. But they contain about 15 grams of protein per sandwich. That includes 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and crunchy or creamy, whatever you prefer.
Team Crunch.
Yeah, we're crunchy people. Some people, that might be weird, but we like it. And then 2 slices of whatever bread. We prefer to stay away from white bread just due to extra sugar and things like that. But yeah, with the peanut butter, you're getting your healthy fats, again in moderation, but you're getting those healthy fats, you're getting a decent amount of protein. It's a nice little snack throughout the day. And if you think a peanut butter sandwich is too plain or something like that, you could always throw maybe some slices of banana on there or some agave or both, just to kind of fancy it up a little bit, make it a little more appealing. But a simple, effective source of protein, peanut butter sandwich. The next source of protein is going to be nutritional yeast.
So nutritional yeast is a common staple for vegans. It kind of replaces your cheese because it has a cheesy flavor, and when it's cooked, it can make your food have a cheesy consistency as well. It's a common ingredient in vegan quesos, and it's really good to put on top of pastas, salads, even popcorn, and we always use it in our tofu scrambles.
That is the first place I ever actually tried it in, and I was actually amazed, and I started putting it on everything after that.
Yeah, he puts it on his tacos.
Tacos, like she said, and pastas, stuff like that, and it's good.
Yeah, and the perk of it is a couple things. One, it has 4 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons.
Which really isn't that much.
It isn't that much. You'll see that recipes that call for nutritional yeast will call for a lot of it. It's also packed with B12, which is something that vegans have a hard time finding in foods. However, nutritional yeast does have B12, so that's another bonus of using this complete protein in your food.
So moving on to our next complete protein, this is going to be sprouted grain bread, also known as Ezekiel bread, which we actually just had for breakfast this morning. You know, it was a nice little breakfast. Put a little avocado and some everything bagel seasoning on there. It's really good.
Ezekiel is just the name for like the first brand that came out, or the most popular brand that came out with sprouted grain bread. And sprouted grain bread just contains the 7 sprouted grains that combined hold the 9 amino acids to complete a protein. And each slice has 4 to 5 grams of protein each. The one that we ate this morning has 5 grams of protein per slice, which was really nice.
And they're not like huge slices, like, you know, like some of those, like the pan bread, like they're this big. They're like a normal regular slice of bread.
They're petite, but they're really dense.
They're filling.
Yeah,
They're good.
They're definitely more filling than a normal piece of bread, I'd say. They're also really high in fiber and vitamins. And just so you know, you do get this bread in the frozen aisle. It stays frozen, which is kind of tricky to break it apart. But it's worth it, and it's really good. You just throw it in the toaster and it cooks itself.
You don't have to thaw it or anything.
No. So if you use it for a sandwich, you will literally start your sandwich off with 10 grams of protein if you use 2 slices. And then if you use like the tofurkey slices that we buy for sandwiches, those have, I believe, 16 grams of protein in a serving. So that's 26 grams of protein in your sandwich. Can't beat that. Our 7th and final vegan protein option for you guys is going to be Seitan. Seitan is made from wheat gluten, herbs, and spices that was designed by monks over 1,000 years ago as a meat substitute. It is really tasty, and it also has a similar texture to meat. The only thing about Seitan is you do need to add a little bit of soy sauce when you're cooking it to give it its final amino acid. I believe it's lysine, if I remember correctly, and I'm probably not even saying that right. But once it's complete, you will have 20 grams of protein per only 3 ounces of this, and it's so good. You could eat way more than 3 ounces.
And as she mentioned, it is a wheat gluten, so if you do have gluten sensitivities or allergies, things like that, I obviously would stay away from this one, but it is a very good source of complete protein.
We hope you enjoyed these 7 complete protein source ideas for you guys. There are other options out there as well, but we didn't want to bore you to death. And
at the end of the day, we're not scientists. I feel like we did a pretty good job of explaining all these. If we left anything out, let us know in the comments. You know, we're not sitting here thinking we know everything. But and if you guys have more sources, this isn't all we consume of complete proteins. But if you guys have any other good options that you know of, feel free to shoot them our way. We're always open to try new things.
Definitely, we love trying new things.
Yep.
Everything in this we gave to the best of our knowledge for you guys, and we always recommend doing your own research and exploring what's out there.
If you did like this video and would like to see more content like this, please give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.
Peace. Thanks for watching.